Brian is a total power banker. Just don't let Mike charge them. Miss Worm, we always thank her, but it's not enough cause she's a gem. The UK prepper never will survive with a bond that can endure. When your only goal's to stay alive, real Coca-Cola is the cure. And he is about to saddle the tiger when he's not aboard his UFO. Barry's out with his Geiger, counting rads that made his beard go. The UK prepper network will survive with a bond that can endure. When your only goal's to stay alive, real Coca-Cola is the cure. World survival is our mission. Out in rivers, careful stepper. Alan led with his vision. Defo still no prepper. Hawkins, hacking Hawkins. We've seen his face and let's just say it's enough to take to your eyes with pins. And of course his radio skills pay the way. The UK Prepper Network will survive with a bond that can really hit. When your only goal's to stay alive, Mike took way too long writing this shit.
Sorry, it should have been a shorter intro, but you know, we don't want the YouTube to stop me and ban me again instantly. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Preppers Fireside. This is your Preppers Fireside. This is for your questions. I've just scanned up through the 90 odd messages with no questions yet. So while I introduce, make sure you're getting your questions in there, otherwise it's going to be a very short show. First off, I have Andy with me, the Bombardier. How you doing, Andy?
Yeah, very good, mate. Yourself?
I'm good, thank you very much. And Brian, Scottish Prepper 73, after lots of swearing in the green room. How are you now? You all right?
Yeah, good, mate. As if I would swear.
Never. Unheard of Scottish people swearing. Speaking of sweary Scottish people, how you doing, Alan?
Oh, good. I'm good.
Excellent. Sorry, I'm trying to look at questions straight away, but have you returned that hideous shirt from last night? What shirt last night? You are? The Russian Nerd one. Oh, that's shocking. You can't say that about Russian Nerds merch. That's horrible.
I think that's his point.
I'm the only man to have a Russian Nerd shirt in the UK, so yes. Anyway, no questions, gents. So do you want to say your goodbyes now?
Bye, bitches.
Yeah. It's a Q&A show, guys, so make sure you get some questions in.
Fluff the pillow, Mike. Fluff the pillow.
I don't tend to know the answer to many things anyway.
Right, I'll get the first question in while we're waiting then. So I want to know where you're all at. We've not talked about just general prepping recently, so I want to know what's your latest prep and what's your latest plans with prepping. We'll start with you, Alan, because you're not a prepper.
That's true. I am not a prepper. Even though I had a very similar argument with somebody. I managed to get a tiny little bit of signal. I was out last night, and there was somebody on one of the survival Facebook pages that I follow who was going on about the difference between preppers and woodsmen. Apparently, that's the new thing. If you're not a woodsman, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't really know what a woodsman is, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
Isn't that when you wake up early in the morning and... Never mind.
But I thought a woodsman was somebody that carved things and stuff, but apparently not. But hey, that doesn't really matter. There's nothing really changed. I've got an idea for what I'm going to do, sort of 2026, with the channel, and I'm going to try and steer it a little bit towards more urban survival, I would call it, rather than prepping. But we'll see how that goes. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
What's your latest buy, if anything?
Latest buy? What was the latest thing I bought? I
don't mean like from Tesco last week. I mean prep related,
I did just order a few more, and I spoke about this on Discord. So see these This is a really good brand I find for freeze-dried camp food. It's always been my favourite, and it's one of the only ones that does 1,000-calorie meals. And they actually taste okay. Some of them taste absolutely rank. But these ones
that's good because the one I reviewed, ReadyWise, is to have 1,000 calories of that, you'd have to cook up 3 pans of it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so this is this chili con carne is a full 1,000 calories. And
nice.
it doesn't really weigh a huge amount more than if you were to buy 2 500 ones. It's still slightly less of a weight, maybe just the packaging. But if why bother with those 300-400 calorie ones when you just buy a 1,000 calorie one? It does actually say it's meant for 2 people, but that's 100% just for me. And that's one meal. That's one meal. That's one meal as far as I'm concerned. I'm still adding stuff to it. I'm still going to have that with pasta and soup and tea and everything else. And beer.
Sounds like an interesting dish with pasta, soup, and tea all in it. Brian,
Alan's setting his stall out. You're getting fuck all. It's a meal for one, Mike.
Brian, what's your latest prep, and what's your next prep?
Oh, you cynic. Latest prep would be Starlink. That was a birthday present, although it's not my birthday till Friday, when I'm 21 again. So Starlink, that's the latest one. Next prep, I want to change the generator. Generator's only about a year and a half old, but I want a dual fuel LPG one. So that's what I want next year. I don't know how I will buy one. I'm saying I don't know how likely it is. It's pretty fucking likely, to be honest. I'll get it.
After the freeze dryer, before the freeze dryer.
I'd love a freeze dryer. It's too much money.
Yeah, you say that. It'll just take you a few months to convince yourself. That's all.
It's $4,000.
Don't do Disney in 2026. There you go. That's $4,000 saved.
You can explain that to my wife then.
Go to the Trafford Centre for a weekend. It's the Disneyland of the North.
I'm going to blame her on this. Between this year's trip and last year's trip to Disney, we could have bought 4 freeze dryers.
Oh God! I literally feel physically sick.
Was that just the thought of me in shorts, or was this the prices?
No, I like the shorts. I've got my photo album. That's fine. Moving swiftly on. Andy, what's your latest prep, and what's your next prep? What you're looking to get?
My latest prep, mate. I suppose I've got a new EDC belt. If people want to see it, so I got one of those, mate. So it's got the Cobra buckle.
All right, yeah.
Holster
Nice.
belt.
Oh, you've got to wear it.
Friday.
You've got to have it on and show us it.
Give it a twirl.
I got that one, mate, and I got a black one as well. That's
Put them on then.
What's the price point on them?
It wasn't that much, mate. 15 quid maybe.
That's all right. Yeah.
In the Black Friday sale, and I think I got 2 for maybe 25, like as part of a deal. And the next thing I'm going to buy, mate, probably on the next Prime Day, I'm probably going to buy a Delta 2. That's going to be my next.
Taking the plunge. Taking the plunge.
And then and one of those panels from City Plumbing at the same time. And I'm just going to do a Bryce. I'm just going to put on a frame and then wheel it in and out the garage when I need to. Because there's no real place for me to put it, mate, anyway, other than on a frame. And it works well, mate. Anyway, I've got loads of room in the garage. It's also property, so I'm just going to put it on a frame.
Do you know what you could do? See on the bottom of it, just buy some casters out of Screwfix. Either affix a wooden batten to the bottom and put the casters onto that, and then you just wheel it straight in and out. You're just using it as you've got a big lever then.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, mate. Yeah.
Sounds good. It's taking the plunge. If you need somebody to test the waterproofness of it, just give us a shout. I'll come down and float it down a river or something. Just make sure it's all up and running to scratch. I've got a load of questions I've starred now already. My latest prep is not my prep. It was gifted to me by Gaz that we saw on the Discord, which is the Kit Pimps smock. Yes, Brian, we know. We know. Jealousy,
Andy,
I know.
Pull the trigger. You want to see it.
So yeah, and I'm going to do a video of what I carry. I was about to do a video of what I carry in my German Fleckturm one that I have. So I'm going to transfer all that over, get it all tied up and stuff, and then I'm going to do a video on that. And what I really want is the bag, but I also want Starlink, but that's a big jump. It's going to be an after Christmas thing, that, if anything. So that's the next one for me. Go on, Andy, you're itching to. I can see you. I can see you.
Mercies for the week, Andy. No mercy.
Sweep the leg. Andy's laughing because Irritate put a lovely comment on the Discord saying that when I lose weight, that jacket will look good. So thank you for that, Irritate. Nothing like a vote of self-confidence for a guy. Self-esteem through the roof. Anyway.
We logged onto the green room and he was making himself sick. I mean, I've got to be honest, that if I wasn't looking, it was quite arousing, the gagging noise, but didn't put me off in the slightest.
Wow.
He spat it out his tea.
Right. Questions. What do we think of British weapons being made in China? Is this a thing? Is this
What
anyone?
made in China?
You what?
What weapons are being made in China that are?
I'm not sure. Anyone got any insight into this question? We can't answer it if we don't know. But
I would say, I mean, if as long as we had a means to be able to very quickly manufacture the same weapons here, should China be the problem? I don't really see a problem with it if it's just a cost cut next.
It'd be interesting.
as long as it doesn't come with an automatic switch off thing.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to know what's being made, mate. Like, there's a big difference between making a missile or a rifle to a tank.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to know what's being made in China.
You order the tank from China and it comes that size. It's like a corgi car.
Look bigger on the picture.
Rather than the British government are ordering the weapons off Temu now. That's how sick they are.
Real titanium. Right, okay. So, Paul, if you want to give us some more insight into that, we'll happily delve deeper into that. But thank you anyway. Snapdragon had a question. What winter extra... Brian, stop stroking your screen.
Oh, I found the answer. Killer.
It's
put it up.
unnerving, this.
It was 3D printers, British 3D printers being used to make weapons. I suspect it's probably drones then, or bodies or some drone
yeah,
bodies.
I expect drone parts, yeah. Or the release mechs or something like that. I'm not fussed. You know, it's always going to go out to the best, the best deal. So it is what it is. What winter / extra preps are you carrying out for the upcoming cold snap? Yeah, so we've heard about this. We'd literally talked on a fireside about potential blackouts, not on a fireside, just on a random live, and how a really bad cold snap could strain the grid loads. So, I mean, Andy's kind of already answered this by saying you're looking at Delta 2, right? Is that based on this for winter as well, Andy? Is that inspired this?
No, mate, it was purely after. So when I wanted to move on from what everybody usually has, where you've got those little power banks that power phones and stuff, when I wanted to branch out into something more sustainable, Brian suggested the C300, which has been perfect for me. I love it. It's a great piece of kit. And that's probably, like Brian said, that's probably the best entry model to get into it and get used to it and see if that's the direction you want to go. And I've had that for probably, might be a year and a half now, Brian, I think, have I?
Will be, yeah.
Yeah, and I've got the full solar panel for it, and it works brilliant. So now that I'm happy with that, mate, the next step is just to move on to the next step. It's just a logical step for me. And the Delta 2 is the one that Brian recommends, so that's the one I'm going. And to be fair, mate, I know Brian recommends them, and then loads of people in the Discord have got them. It's like there's that many people in the Discord and our community now who have them and use them. Yeah. So it just makes sense, mate, for me to take the next step. It's not necessarily a winter prep, mate. It's just a prep in general for any time of year, really.
Yeah. So are you doing, apart from that then, are you doing anything extra for this potential cold snaps coming, or do you feel already quite prepared for that?
No, I'm already quite prepared. I mean, every year, mate, I top up with that's what I'm looking for. salt for the ice and the snow. And then when I was at my old job as well, when there was a shortage, I just used to use builder sand. Builder sand mate did the same thing, the same job. So if anybody's can't get hold of salt, if you get a couple of bags of builder sand, it'll do the same job. I've dropped it in the chat, Mike.
Okay, cool.
So other than topping up the salt mate and the builder sand, I feel like I'm pretty squared away really. But apart from the Delta 2, obviously, but again, that's not a winter specific prep.
Yeah, just your overdue upgrade kind of thing. So cool. Alan, with potentially the worst winter ever on record, as they say every single year, are you making any extra preps?
Yeah, I was just about to say, I just read a thing in the news saying that this is going to be the coldest winter ever, apparently. And Sky
I
News
read that yearly.
Yeah.
They just copy paste and change the dates.
It's like this. Was it the snow bomb that's reported in the Daily Mail literally every single year? And Sky just now are saying that tonight is apparently going to be the coldest night since March. I was like, well, yeah, it's the middle of November, so it usually is colder in November than March. But I think on the home front kind of side, actually last week I got some of those those padded foam things for putting round pipes, because the house that I'm in just now, I've only been here a few years and I had problems with that last year. So because it's going to be particularly cold this year, I've actually went to town cable tying these foam things to some of the pipes that I've got outside, because that's the house I'm in. It's built in like the 30s or something, and they have pipes on the outside, which is really annoying. So I've insulated a lot of that, and I'll see how that goes. And I've sort of weatherproofed my fence a little bit better this time, because that was also a nightmare last year. And obviously on the wilderness camping side of things, I always move round about the autumn time to a winter setup anyway. But one thing I've got earmarked to buy this year is a small winter hot tent, which I've never owned before. I've got one large hot tent, which is a teepee style tent, and I've got a mountain tent. That's the only two tents I own, because I do everything usually in tarps. But I've got
a few in storage if you want. You can just feel free to help yourself. You might need to.
No, I need waterproof ones.
You beat me to it.
But yeah. I mean, I'm also looking at a small titanium wood burning stove to go with it. That'll be pretty cool, because I want to like put it into my motorbike camping setup, which is also kind of like a bug out vehicle for me as well. So if I'm going to buy a tent for that, I may as well make it a winterized one, so it has a dual use. It's something I can take in the winter months as well.
Definitely, yeah. Sounds good. Brian, last but not least, your potential. We spoke about the potential grid going down and stuff like that, and the strain that a really bad winter could put on us. Are you making any additional preps for that, or maybe getting family to do so?
Family, the ones that I still speak to, my brother's on board. My other brother, we don't hear from much. My sister says she'll do it, never does. So no, I'm not going to flog a dead horse. But prep-wise, more or less just been doing maintenance.
Cheers, Gatwick.
It's been maintenance. I'm in a maintenance cycle. So the last month I've just been rotating stock, agitating the tins, turning them upside down, giving them a little clean with a cloth, get any dust or moisture off them, making sure the dehumidifier works. I've got the moisture content down to about 31 degrees on average, 31% for the shed.
Okay.
I serviced the generator, swapped to the water, replenished that in the 55-gallon drums. So that's pretty much where I am.
Any storm straps over the roof?
No, but I did think about it, and I've been on the swiller with that, to be fair. I don't know. I do have ratchet straps that would reach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I've got, where it's
Anchor
mounted
points?
on railway sleepers. Yeah. Well, I could put, just buy some rebar and bend it into eyelets and coach bolt them onto the railway sleepers and then ratchet strap to there.
I'd definitely fit the eyelets, because you don't have to put the strap on, right? At least it's there if you need to.
so many jokes. This could go. I'm not going to go there. No, I've been thinking about it because we do get a lot of wind here, and it gets pretty sporty. So I don't know. I probably will actually after just talking with you about it. Other than that, mate, nothing. I was quite upbeat, vindicated with Catherine Porter's latest article, which pretty much rubber stamped in a more eloquent fashion than I've been trying to say about the grid in the winter for the last 2 years.
Someone who can word things more eloquent than you, I do not believe it, sir. It must be a lie. She said, "Oh, we're in a bit of trouble." Brian says, "We're fucked."
That was basically there was a key difference in colourful language. But if we do have a bad winter, the margins are so tight, we could be in a bit of bother. But like you said, every winter's going to be the worst in record, so it's suck it and see.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, I don't want to suck it and see, but yeah. Thank you, Snapdragon, for the question. Appreciate that. Hope that give you some answers there. Mad Chicagas, when are you going to? Speaking of suck it and see, when are you going to do the live stream with the 6 million Scoville lollipop? 9 million Scoville, and it's not going to be live. I'm just going to do a video. So at least I can turn the camera off and cry if I need to.
Well, we're all here. Might as well just do it now.
No, who's going to read the rest of the questions out? You lot.
I'll read it if you'll try and kill yourself with Satan's dick. Go on. Have a good old licky Satan's penis.
Wow. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Sorry to our Christian friends. I apologise for Brian. What gravity filter do you... demon. What gravity water filter do you recommend? Personally, you can't go wrong with a Berkey for me, but that's for home, obviously. So after that, it'd be a Sawyer Mini. I've also got the one off Lee, which is really good, and the name's gone out of my head. Anyway, Freewell, I think it is. That's about 60 quid, but it's a similar sort of thing to the Sawyer. Andy?
The only two that I've got, mate, is the Sawyer Mini and the Sawyer Squeeze. I haven't got anything for home use. But
you could rig them up for home use, couldn't you?
Well, you could do it, yeah. But I mean, if I was going to have something that was standalone at home, I'd probably just get a Berkey. Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about the Berkey is we use the Vivo one that I got in the kitchen, and that there's no cooling in it. So if you fill it with water, you just want to use the water. If it's a warm day, it's warm water. There's no cooling in it. That's the only downside. Brian, gravity water?
I use the Lifesaver Mini. That's my preferred choice. I've got some of the little mini ones as well. I'm sure they're Lifesaver Minis. But the jerry can is, well, that was a gift, but that's what I wanted anyway, because my prep's primary ethos is bug in. And I can take that with me.
You've got quite a water storage already in place, haven't you, before you'd have to start filtering?
165 gallons.
Yeah. So do you test that, like, to make sure it's okay? Do you have any way of testing that?
Just replace it every 3 months.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Cool. Alan, water filtering. What do you recommend?
I've never used any of the water gravity type ones. The Sawyer Mini is the only one that I've heard particularly good reviews of. I see lots of other people using them. I've personally never used them. I use the Grail, which isn't a gravity water filter. So
it's the pressure one, isn't it? It's the similar concept, yeah.
Pressure one, so you're pushing some water through a membrane as opposed to allowing it to do it itself. But
that's I assume that's similar to the Sawyer Squeeze, Andy, is it? Where you're forcing it through.
Yeah. Well, as close you're going to get.
Yeah.
It is a different. In fact, I've just lied, mate. It's totally different. It's a totally different premise and way to use it.
All right. Okay. I thought it was a similar sort of thing where it's pressure that forces it through.
Well, they both use pressure, but one's using a bag.
Way.
Yeah, one's using a bag and one's using a container, like a hard plastic container. But if I was thinking about filtering or purifying large amounts of water for like if there was more than 5 of us, for example. It's a good passive way of doing it. Filling up a bucket and having like a soya mini at the bottom, just dripping into a bucket. That's a good way of doing it. It's not practical for the kind of stuff I do. I'm usually by myself, and I need water immediately. And the good thing about the Grail is it's immediate water. I've got it in 30 seconds.
Yeah. Cool. So what about the home situation then, with family at home and stuff like that? If it came to a need to filter water at home, are you just going to be sharing the grill?
Well, yeah. I mean, I could use the Grail. I've got chemical purification as well, because this is a family of 3, 2 adults and a small child, and 1 dog now. Sadly, my other dog died this week, so I've got 1 dog now. But between us, the Grail would actually get by. With rainwater, I could collect rainwater and then purify it through that. And I can set up, I could build, if I really needed to, I could build a water filtration system that would work on the same principle as being gravity fed. And then I could purify it via boiling or the Grail or chemical or something like that. Because there is a big difference between obviously filtering and purification. Those are 2 different things. The good thing about something like the Grail is it's both. It filters and purifies. So it's a purifier as opposed to just a filter.
Cool. Awesome. And boil is number 1. All of the gadgets you buy under the sun, tablets, anything like that, boiling is still the best way for everyone to purify. Thank you for the question, Stuart. Hopefully that gives you some insight. Stuart Lonnan, if you were to purchase one, which is the best, Mesh Core or Mesh-tastic? Well, we've made the jump from Mesh-tastic to Mesh Core. The devices you buy, it doesn't matter. You can flash it with either software. So don't think you've got to buy it because it says Mesh-tastic on the advert or anything like that. You're just getting a device which you can then put whatever you want on. Brian, you've got Mesh Core set up now, haven't you?
Yes and no. I've got it set up on that one, but I had wanted to put up a repeater. You really need a repeater as well. Because there's not a lot of uptake where I am, so I'm going to need to establish my own network. But that's going to be part of the Starlink project anyway, because I'm going to need to do an Ethernet gateway, and we should be able to use Starlink to extend the network. But that's going to be a project.
Pending.
Yeah,
Fun
but
times.
Mesh Core's more stable long term for what we're wanting, and less prone to nuisance messages, and it'll bounce further as well. Then there's more jumps.
It's got the bulletin board style thing as well, right? So you can leave a message for someone rather than just hoping they're online to pick it up. So yeah, but when it comes to the actual question recommendations, Stuart, it's like I say, the software can be changed and flashed to whatever you want. It's essentially the same sort of node you're buying anyway. So
some use more power than others.
They do. 3D Chicken. If you just Google 3D Chicken, he's the one that does our UKPN ones. He's got some good units there. Genuinely, you can find them on eBay. You can find them on Amazon. You can spend next to nothing, can get cheap as chip ones like the Lily Goes, which are, cheap and cheerful but do the job. Or you can go the whole shebang. I've got one on my wish list at the moment, which is the Lily Go, the one looks like an old BlackBerry, but it's an all-in-one unit with the aerial. And
it's got the keypad.
Yeah, that's on my I want that one for the car. That would be ideal. So
if only we had someone, mate, who could have come on tonight to answer that question in detail.
I know, yeah. We don't have a communications expert that's sober right now, so sorry.
In fairness, he did warn us that he might be a bit pissed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not stopped him coming on before. It's not stopped me dragging Alan on when he's like 9 cans in.
I was about to say that didn't stop me coming on one time and making fun of the French all the way through it.
Yeah, I think he did not hold back on the French. Guardian Prepping, awesome channel, awesome guy. Go and check him out. Question: if you could only have 3 preps item-wise, what would they be for long-term SHTF? You have a small family/friends group. Are you likely to be heading to the wilderness? So it's like 27 questions in one, but let's start with the you can only have 3 preps item-wise going into SHTF, and I'll go with Andy first.
I'd have a tarp. I'd have some type of metal mug or metal pot to cook and collect water in, and I would take a knife.
Yeah. Any particular one?
K-bar.
There you go. K-bar, tarp, and canteen, basically a metal canteen. For obvious reasons, you can't boil any water without a metal container, so it's one thing that's overlooked when people do these desert island picks. But yeah, it's a good choice. Brian?
I was going to do something really funny and
eco-floor.
ridiculous. Well,
A panel from City Plumbing.
well, he did. This is a bit of a cheat. I'd take the camper van as one item. Because technically it is one item.
Oh, no.
It's one item.
No.
There
that's
was nothing put on it. There's no prerequisites. So I would take the camper van.
You burn down his fucking shed in one scenario, so then he has to sabotage everything else. Fucking hell. Yeah.
So I'd take the camper van. I would take the lifesaver jerry can. And
Is that not already in the camper van with all your stuff, you know?
No. I don't want to rip the arse out at Mike. And I would probably take a 12 gauge in case I was going clay pigeon shooting that day.
Good choice, yeah. You never know when them pesky clay pigeons come around. Alan, 3 preps you can have, item-wise, what would they be?
Oh, it's a tricky one, that, because free is quite difficult, because mine are probably very similar to Andy's. Actually, I think I'd definitely take stainless steel container like this. I can do a lot of things with this. I would take ferrocerian rods, a decent one, and the thing is, I'm tempted to say a knife as well, but I think it would probably be at a pinch a tarp. A tarp trumps a knife. I can make something resembling each one of those things, but in an absolute emergency with a family and stuff, I would be better off having immediate shelter than I would have a knife. Because dicking around trying to build a shelter with my knife, while they're freezing to death in a rainstorm is just no good. I might have to go proper Stone Age and start, napping a stone into the shape of a knife eventually if for some reason there's no metal around. But a lot of survivalists say I would just take my knife no matter what. Do you know what? You can get by pretty easily without a knife. I went my entire early childhood getting by in survival without a knife because I wasn't allowed one. And I did all sorts of stuff, built huge shelters and had great campfires and stuff. So yeah, I think a tarp, my container, and a ferrocerian rod.
What are you going to strike it with?
Well, it comes with the striker, therefore.
All right, okay.
You can actually strike these with a stone. I've tried it. It's not easy to do, but you can actually scrape with a stone, and they work just the same.
Oh, nice. Have to give that a test. For me, I'm going to take a leaf out of Brian's book. Then, if that's what we can do, I'm going to take my bug out bag, the car, and the kitchen. Fuck them. All right, there's 3 items, right?
Now the kitchen's a cop out. That's cheating.
No, genuinely 3 items.
What about your brand new snugly fitting?
What's snugly fitting? It's too big for me. Like, it's got room for padding.
Where?
Shocking, absolutely shocking. Right. Anyway, moving swiftly on. No, I'll agree with partly agree with Andy with a knife and a metal container, and then do the ferro rod the same as Alan. So it'd be ferro rod, knife, and metal container. Shelters I can build and stuff like that. Not and scavenge. I'm more likely to be able to scavenge a bit of tarp or a plastic sheet than I am a ferrous rod and stuff like that. So that would be my 3. The other parts of that was. Shut up, Brian.
It's him snugly fit.
I'm going to go and get it now and show you.
Stop that shit.
You have a small family and are likely heading for the wilderness. All right, so it's more the scenario than anything.
Yeah.
What would they be for? Yeah, that's okay. We covered that. Thank you, Guardian. Appreciate that one. I like stuff like that. It's always good to know. Tanya, with a £10 super chat. Awesome. Thank you very much. Love the lives and community you're creating. You guys always make me laugh. There we go. Thank you. At my expense, usually, Tanya, but I appreciate the compensation there. So I'm recruiting anybody who wants to be on a fireside. We've got regular slots opening up soon, so please send me an email or a message. There's plenty of room. Mike, what was the festive turkey fray bentos like? It was really good. Has anyone tried that yet? By the way, it's only $1.99 because it's only $1.99 because it's like a special one. It was like down at Home Bargains or one of them shops like that. So we got like a 4 or 5 of them sort of thing, and we both tried it. Even the missus, who's quite fussy with food, she really liked it as well. So, and had a surprisingly decent amount of turkey in it. You what? It's amazing. It's amazing. But yes, surprisingly quite a decent amount of turkey in it as well. So yeah, it's good. Highly recommend. I'm going to try the all-day breakfast one this week at some point as well. See what that's like. I don't know what that's going to be like. I'm expecting like a sausage this big in it or something. No, just because I said sausage and went like this doesn't mean you have to pipe up. You just don't have to. How do preppers cope with the stress of dealing with stupid people? You tell me, Amphia. You tell me. Please, if you know the secret, please tell me.
Surrounded by idiots.
All the time. Yeah. Okay. Got 68
It's not
comments
stupid
behind.
to them, though. That's the problem. When you're trying to explain prepping to somebody or the merits thereof, in their mind, it's us that's stupid. It's us that's nuts. And it's trying to find a bridge to get over the two.
Quick question. Is Brian the breakout character?
Breaking out of what?
I don't know. I'm lost. He's already got his own spin-off series. He's got his own little channel and stuff, you know.
Dick. I'll give you a laugh. See, while you were talking, I was pissing about with a knife and I was cleaning it, and I thought I'll rub it on my jeans. No, but it went straight through the fucking denims. So it's pretty sharp.
Yeah, bleeding out on a live. Good for viewings. Good for viewing ratings.
At least now we know how far Mike's bad luck can spread. Spread all over the through a live stream.
I have nothing but good luck. I don't know what you mean. I'm blessed, Andy. I'm blessed. How we all doing? That's not a question. It flags up question marks, so people put question marks in. I stop like this, and then I'm like, "What's going on? How's that a question?"
It's a statement.
Just scrolling down. I think they're saying about a tarp and stuff like that. No, don't stand up. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's Andy's belt.
I have a few of the all-day breakfast ones. I got a few £1.25 at Heron. Oh, I'll have to Google if there's a Heron near me. You what?
That's £1.24 too much.
You're not rate them, Andy. Not rate them.
Fucking rats make them things.
What, for Mentos? Oh, the steak one's lovely.
I tell you what, right, mate. If SHF happened, no matter how hungry I was, I would not be eating that.
Would you give it to the tiger?
No, I wouldn't. Mate. I wouldn't. That's how highly I think of those tigers. I wouldn't put it anywhere near them.
Have you tried those Dormeal packs yet? You get these meal for one Dormeal packs.
The wet ones, yeah.
The other day. Yeah, I mean, they're microwavable. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm thinking, see if you can boil that in a bag. That's an excellent little bit of camping food right there as well.
You can. The English Woodsman did a review on them, and he took them camping and did it like that and cooked them like that in the bag, sort of thing. Well, he tipped it out the bag. You tried them, didn't you?
The Frey Bentos versions one I did, yeah, I boiled them in the bag.
Yeah.
Jeff boil.
Yeah. I always prefer to boil in the bag because you end up making a mess of your tin if you start
Yeah.
squeezing stuff in. So anything boil in the bag is good, but because it's plastic, I thought it might taste all plasticky and disgusting. But
Well, to be fair, mate, on the back of the Frey Bentos ones, it says you can boil them in the bag.
oh, does it?
Yeah, which is why I did it in the first place.
I bought a couple of the Dolmeal ones, but they're microwavable, and I gave them to the kid. So he ate them, and they were fine, and they looked okay. But I did wonder if they're boilable. Hell of a lot cheaper anyway, because
the ones, the Frey Bentos ones I make, 'cause I've done them.
I mean, this thing cost me 10 quid, and they're on offer. So I bought a few of these.
Could have got 5 Frey Bentos turkey Christmas pies for that.
Yeah.
That's the evening meal of choice at our winter camp in Scotland, Andy. So you'll have a pie ready for you when you get.
No,
It's not coming now.
in fact, I'll throw it in Hawkins' pen.
You disappeared while we were talking about it the other day, and Hawkins said, "Oh, I'll just go up to Andy and drive up with him." So you're gonna carpool with Hawkins.
That's all right, mate. If he wants to drive, by all means, he can come pick me up. I'll message him after this 100%. He can take me. That is fine. I have no dramas with that.
I said if you two are sharing the same car, I want the video evidence of like.
Why? Also, would be me talking. What would it be? Just make a normal video. You wouldn't be able to see him, would you?
It's gonna feel weird driving next to an avatar, though, isn't it? How do you see the road with no face? Lorraine Sanders, Mike, did you get a chance to get one of those water bottles that Andy had usually for the military only? No, the Survivor 58. I haven't got one. No, it's on the bucket/wish list. I did send an email though to the what you said, Andy. So I've not had a reply as of yet, unless it's gone into junk. So, how long did they take to reply to you when you emailed them?
Oh, it was pretty rapid.
Was it?
Like it was same day.
Mm.
To be fair,
Maybe
mate,
I should.
I'll email them because we know what y'all looks like. I'll email them, and if I get anything back, I'll throw it in Discord.
All right. Okay. Awesome. What do people think of USA potentially offering political asylum to people from the UK targeted for thought crimes?
I'd go tomorrow.
There you go. You go tomorrow. I mean, I would love to, but I've got too many children spread across this island that I'm responsible for. Some I'm not responsible for. I don't know, possibly, but there's just lots of little people like me running around. Alan, would you take political asylum to the States?
Yeah, I'd consider it. There was a time where I always wanted to move to the States, and then as politics over there changed a little bit, I went off the idea. I used to originally want to go to California because it had great weather and great wildernesses, but I don't think I could live in a state like that. They're just as bad as this place. But
oh yeah,
there's nice places in Texas and Florida, so
Texas, I was looking at. There's some nice places in Texas. Brian, you're getting close to the old age cutoff for getting over there, so would you consider it soon?
Many more comments like that, you'll no fucking see it. Cheeky basket.
Brian, you practically live in Florida anyway with the amount of trips you take over there.
Yeah, that's it. Have you not got dual citizenship yet?
I would. The problem I've got, my job doesn't exist there, to be honest. So I don't know what I'd do. But in principle, if I had the money and they would let me in, I would go to Texas. I'd go to Texas in a heartbeat.
Right.
Go work where?
Go work in a gun shop. That's what I'd do.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
Exactly. Plenty of them in Texas.
Yeah, I'd like to stay there. I think it would be maybe a ranch, maybe 10, 20, 30 acres, something like that. I would be happy with that. It's pie in the sky. Wife would never go.
Chump change over there. Cool. Thanks for the question. I think it's a resounding yes if we can. Is there a downside to MREs? Depends what you're comparing it to. They're more expensive than tinned food. They're less. They last less time than freeze dried. So you've got your food in stages, Brian. Probably is a good question for you.
I'll go with 2 stages. So short term, mid term, and I would deem it to be long term. Short term would be tins, jars, that sort of ilk, were 2 to 5 year shelf life that you would use. Mid-term, I would call wet rats, like MREs, which would be a 5 to 10 year shelf life, and dried stuff ending up to 25 years. But downsides, the only downsides with MREs is the vegan shit in them, if you get stuck with one of them. But other than that,
yeah, I do. Oh,
vegan sausage or something.
Traumatic flashbacks for that vegan sausage and beans. Oh, it's horrendous.
Vegan sausage is literally getting attacked with Antifa in the showers. Nobody wants that. So I personally don't see any downsides to them. I've had more than one rat pack of different menus. Andy will have eaten hundreds of the fuckers.
The two downsides to them is the British MREs is that they're heavy. The wet food are heavy. So if you're taking any amount of them out for a long period of time, they do weigh a lot. And the other downside is they're designed to make you constipated. They're designed to stop you crapping in the field. So if you eat them for any extended period of time, you are going to end up in
exploding.
Yeah, you can't eat them. You can't eat them forever. There's a reason why Portaloos on exercise are called thunderboxes. So that's the two main downsides. They're designed to constipate you, and they are quite heavy.
I'm sure hospital food is designed in the same way. I'm sure it is.
It's designed to kill you.
Yeah. And just so everyone knows, that is the new mother of my grandchild. So congratulations to the new mummy. That's Charlie. That's my son's missus, who's just given me the grandbaby. So there you go.
It's your daughter-in-law.
No, not married. So I don't know what. It's daughter-in-law-ish. Yeah, not by law.
I was going to say as well. See, the MREs, the wet meal types anyway, they don't fare that well in really cold climates. So if you're doing any kind of anything below sort of -3 or 4, they can freeze, and they're a pain in the arse to try and heat up. When I go on mountaineering type trips, I always take freeze dried purely because the other ones freeze. And like Andy says, they don't. If you were to eat MREs all of the time, if you actually read the ingredients of them, they're horrendous. So they're really not good for you. I didn't know they deliberately kept you sort of constipated, but the ingredients in them is astronomical, and it's all preservatives and shite. So it wouldn't be very good for you, I don't think, if you eat them for longer than, I don't know, maybe a month or 2. You would probably really start feeling the effects of it. I think the longest I ever went try to eat stuff like that was probably only 5 or 6 days. And I felt kind of bloated actually now that I think about it. Maybe that's why.
So if your entire survival plan is based around MREs, consider what you're using for your Kazi as well. Thank you for the question anyway. It's always a good one. Might make some people think who literally just have MREs as their survival food. But that's a really good point, Andy. So thanks for that. Already done that one. What's the worst prep item purchased so far? Ooh. Alan?
I've got a 511 backpack, which I do still use. But see, to be honest, I kind of regret buying it now because it's so heavy and relatively impractical for most of the uses. And for some reason, people like when they buy these tactical bags, they've got like hundreds of pockets, and they imagine being able to organize everything and put like everything in these little pockets. The problem is when you do that, one, you forget where everything is. Nothing's individually waterproofed when you do that, and also they don't really work that well when you start trying to organize them because they kind of swell outwards.
Tread carefully, Alan. Tread carefully, Alan. You are treading on my dreams. I want that kit pimp one with all the pockets.
Really? Well, it's like, I think it's the probably got it lying around somewhere, but it's the 70. Yeah, it's over here.
The Rush 72.
Yeah, the Rush 72, and you can see it's got like lighting in here is pretty bad, but it's got like 1 million pockets to it, and I've tried to fill them out. All these little bits here, and they don't sit perfectly neat because the more stuff you put in it, the more it becomes like a turtle shell. and it swells right out and it becomes really uncomfortable. And yet, so you end up not using any of this stuff at all. You end up just using it like a dump bag, and then you've got all this additional weight. This front pocket alone can weigh as much as a good backpack. So I don't really understand the reason for having it. I suppose if you were like some sort of tactical
If you didn't have
soldier,
all,
you know what I mean?
if you didn't have all them pockets, though, Alan, you couldn't have your tactical tentacles dangling off the back as you're running along.
Oh, well, he had to, didn't he? He had to. I can generally feel my blood pressure. You can see my face going red. I can feel my blood pressure going up thinking about it. So that 511 Rush 72. So I used one then, mate, in Afghan, and the one I've still got it. It had a compartment, so the front, and so like the front part Al was talking about there, and like the main compartment, there was like mesh on either side, and it would pull out and you could fit your helmet in it, so it would save having your helmet connected to your weapon, because it's an absolute pain in the ass if you ever have to run or go any far distance with it. And I think that's and it was a great bag when I was out there. A lot of things didn't have to be individually waterproof because it was like 50 degrees, and obviously the amount of kitting that you carried out there, it worked quite well. But like Al says, mate, like it has no application in Great Britain or in anything peacetime really. It just doesn't work. It worked great for me when I was out there because I had that much kit and equipment, and it served a purpose, which is why I used it. But I agree with Al. So mine's in the attic, and I haven't used it since I come back, purely because it just doesn't work for me. And there's too much sentimentality linked up in it for me to get rid of it because of where it's been and what I've done with it.
I quite like the separate sections and pockets if I'm going out on my own, because I know I can just get my camping stove out of here and I don't have to unpack the bag, and I know I can just get this out of here and I don't have to unpack the bag. You know what I mean? So everything's easy access without having to delve into the main compartment all the time.
The pockets, they squash against each other, so you can't easily, like if you put a sleeping bag in that and then try and put something in one of those pockets, because it's pushing up against it, I find that you just can't get anything in them, and it becomes a real pain in the arse. But it could just be the way I'm packing it. Like it's like Andy, if you've got a very particular use in mind, like in the desert or something like that, and you're just putting military gear in it, great bag. I mean, it's absolutely bomb-proof, but it's so heavy. I mean, that bag weighs 4 times the amount empty as to my normal bushcrafting bag that I would take out with me. 4 times empty.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah,
Is that the frame? Is that because of the frame?
Well, it's not got a metal frame. It's got a sort of internal plasticky type thing, I think. But so it's not like a metal frame or anything like that. But
So what's the weight then? Canvas material?
The material, yeah. It has probably 5 or 6 different layers of material to make up all those pockets, and because it's using like the strongest grade possible of materials, it's heavy as hell. And I also found that it actually holds a little bit of water, weirdly enough. It doesn't come with a rain cover or nothing, so it's not actually a waterproof bag. If it rains, water will go through it, and it actually retains some of it as well. So I've still got it because I paid a lot of money. I got that way back in the day, and it cost me a fortune. So I still have it, but I kind of regret it because it just sits in this room, hardly getting used.
Excellent. There you go. Brian, worst prep item purchased so far?
This fucking workshop, mate. I was thinking about that. And I'm thinking, I was looking round about and I'm going, I don't have anything that I thought was a waste of money or wasn't good value. And then I looked at the ceiling and I thought, I know the bugger that's a waste of money. Garden Buildings Direct or Billy O Sheds, they're absolute shite. So if you're looking for one, don't buy it. In fact, if you buy one, let Mike camp in it for the night and set the fucker on fire. They're shite.
I don't know where this has come from. There's no where this has come from. I've never set a tent on fire. The things
so far. No, we bought this and it wasn't cheap, and I spent probably near enough the same again putting it right. I'm happy with it now, and it looks great and it does what I want. But nah, shite. So that's Garden Buildings Direct, Billy O Sheds, shite.
And he's not sponsored to say that.
I'm sure there was a sticker at the bottom saying "built by Mike" or something.
No, because it would have. I wouldn't have sent you extra doors to make a bench with.
5 doors, 5 fucking doors. No floor. Never sent me a floor, but five fucking doors. I'm looking at it going, somebody's shite at Tetris at that factory. They really are.
Someone never got Lego as a kid.
Yeah.
Andy, worst prep item purchased so far?
That new, the new army issued modular sleeping bag
Yeah,
is an absolute bag of shit.
yeah.
It's
What's
horrendous.
give us some detail.
So I made the mistake, mate, of buying it before we went to the prep meet in the Midlands, and that thing, mate, and it was my mistake, because usually I'll test stuff before I go out and I get up, but I didn't, mate. I made the mistake because the one I used whilst I was in the military was so good. I made the mistake of thinking, well,
it's just going to be
modular one.
good, yeah.
Yeah, he's good, and it wasn't, mate. It was dog shit. I binned it when I come home. So when I was the material, mate, the materials were shite. The quality of the stitching and the materials used was shite. The first time I used it on that meet, on the first night, the zip broke. And just the general build quality, mate, was just crap. So when I come home, mate, I just binned it.
Cool. There you go.
That's good to know.
Well, mine's a long list, as we probably know. Every tent ever. No, but genuinely, probably the worst thing was when I got the cheap. I mean, I don't mind, like, you know, the single burner stoves that take the long gas canisters.
Yeah.
You pay a bit for them and they're half decent. It mounts in, it's all stable, it's fine, no problem. I got a really cheap one off Amazon. It said Adventure across it or something like that. And that's the one that the gas kept leaking out the side after about 3 or 4 uses. After regular use, the spring just went straight away. It lost all its strength and it wasn't holding the gas canister in place. And that's what blew up into flames, and surrounded the whole gas thing. Since then, I went to Go Outdoors and got their version of the same sort of thing. And you could feel the build quality difference. And it's more or less the same price, to be fair. So rather than get the Amazon one that they've just added price to it, even though it's probably is worth less than £5, go to Go Outdoors, get that one, or the next one up, which is a double one. It just feels much more sturdier. But yeah, buying the cheap store, buying anything cheap when it comes to things that can blow up, take my word for it. Don't do it.
Was that, didn't Barry put a can of shaving foam in his?
Yes.
And he clicked it in, all that shaving foam started pissing out. I'm sure it was Barry.
Fucking hell.
I mean, I don't think you can blame the product for that.
No, but it just popped in my head when you started talking about those gas things.
Yeah,
So you both had a really close shave.
Yeah, but that's happened to me twice. You know, once bitten, twice shy. Obviously not. Just carry on. I had 2 of them anyway for redundancy, and the first one happened at the first Midlands meet. And Chris, the UK prepper man, he was sat making his brew, watching me as I'm over this stove, and the flames surrounded my head as it all went up. So he rescued me. No, he didn't video it. I asked him, but he made me a brew to compensate for losing my eyebrows. And then the second time was when I was out camping on my own, and it was that was clear to me then it wasn't just a one-off fault. It's just don't get them cheap ones. So yeah, thank you for the question, Evil Girls. Good.
You know what's even crazier about that story about Barry and the shaving foam? The bloke's got a beard. So why did he have shaving foam? That's the even crazier part of that story. Where did he get the shaving foam from?
That's got to be a wind-up.
So that's what I mean.
You don't know what he shaves.
Yeah,
you only see his beards. You don't know what he shaves.
You could have some smooth balls.
Barry, the modern man. It's just that was his manscaping fluid. Sorry, Barry. It's your fault for not coming on. I'm just scrolling down, trying not to miss any of your questions, guys. If I do, I'm sorry, but we are behind on them. So thank you for the question, Evil Girl. That was a good one. I like that one. If you were given £500 for prepping, what would you buy? I'm not going to ask Brian. To be honest, for me, at the moment, Starlink would be the first thing, and put the rest towards getting a Delta 2. I know it wouldn't be enough for both at the time, but yeah,
Close,
I would try. Yeah, close enough that you could do that. Possibly Black Friday, you could do that. So if someone wants to give me £500 by Black Friday, then great. But yeah, Starlink and a Delta 2 would be the combination for me at this stage.
You probably could actually. I've seen them as cheap as 320, and it's 165 for Starlink. So you could get it.
Yeah, there you go. And I could get a solar panel from Temu because they're excellent. And there you go. I'll just spend the extra tenner change on that. Andy, 500 quid. You've had a windfall on the pools.
I would buy a Delta 2, mate.
Yeah.
And then I've been debating for ages. So what have I got left? 100 quid?
Yeah, thereabouts. Yeah, thereabouts.
I've been debating for ages, mate, to try something from AlpKit. So
From where?
AlpKit.
All right.
AlpKit. So I would potentially try a bivvy or a tap from AlpKit with 100 quid here left. Or a sleep mat, maybe, stuff like that.
Black Friday sale now on. How much? They've just stuck a new stamp on a Berghaus coat and added 100 quid to it. Mental. Anyway, 184.99.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
No, it's excellent. I love the fact that you tested something as well. That's great. Alan, £500 on the pools. What are you buying?
Probably the small Pomali titanium wood burning stove I mentioned earlier on. They're about 500 quid, and they look fantastic. But 500 quid's a lot of money. But if I just had a random 500 quid, then yeah, absolutely, that's probably it.
Stick it all on red.
Buy, Mike. You could buy that. You could buy the Delta 2, and you could buy a proper jet boil.
I could. Do you know what? The list is endless, really. Let's be fair. As preppers, we're never finished. I want the HD50 paintball gun. I want the Crossman rat catcher air rifle, which you can have in the UK. They're the two things I want as well.
I was back up on a army camp up here doing some stuff for work, and I went into the Naffy dinner arm, and they were selling the jet boil zip in there for 99 quid.
I expect them to go down to like that at Black Friday, so it is a good investment, definitely. But you know, who's got 500 quid this close to Christmas? Not me. Don't have 27 kids, guys. It's not good for your bank. So Andy, 500 quid. What do you say? Sorry.
The Delta 2 and then something from AlpKit.
Yeah, Delta 2. And Alan, you're on the
titanium stove.
Titanium stove. Is that 500? Is that all of it?
Yeah, they're about 500 quid. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Cool. Brian, another Delta 2.
No,
just for shits and giggles, the top of the mountain.
I was going to say I'm power banked out, but I'll probably get more just to review them. But I've got no room. Did have no room anymore. There's 10 kilowatts of power banks in here. Let's not be hasty. No, I would put it towards the gas, the LPG generator, the dual fuel. So that would probably pay about half it.
Cool. So, there you go. Sorted. Thank you very much for that Rift. It's a good one. Pete, UK winter, cold, wet and dark. What's in the car now for winter journeys and knowing it's there, making you feel wise? What have you got in the car that's different for winter? I think we've got our regular car kit that's in there all the time. The only thing I throw in extra is I've got a big bag of salt now that goes with it, because it was dirt cheap at Rogers. So 5 kilos of salt. So that's going to I can grit half the motorway on the way home if I need to.
Funnily enough, mate, you know, in the when I used to have my BMW, when I used to have to when it got to winter time because it was rear-wheel drive, I used to have to put 4 bags of salt in the boot to give it any type of grip, mate, coming off the drive. So when it come to winter time, like I was absolutely useless for getting anything in that boot apart from barbell weights and grit of salt.
Wow.
There you go. Up the hill.
Do you have anything in the car, especially for winter now, Andy?
To be fair, mate, I walk to work now. But if I was going to go on a long journey, mate, I would have standard car kit that we've all probably got. The only thing that goes in winter, mate, is extra food, mate, and extra warm gear, sleeping bags, extra food, that type of thing.
Yeah, I keep a couple of wool blankets, but again, that's year round, even in the height of summer. I don't know what I'm going to do with them in the height of summer. Make a big tent, maybe, and set it on fire. Brian, anything extra in the car over the winter period?
Yes, a couple of things. So I keep a Anchor C300 and an electric blanket in it now, in addition to the sleeping bag that I always keep in it. And other than that, I just add in more food, so more wet rations, and what do you call it, more water.
Excellent.
That's basically it. That's the only amendments.
Alan, anything in the car or on the bike, even for that matter?
In the car, I've got a kit that all stays in the boot. It's in a big sort of plastic container. I did a video about it ages ago, which is basically everything you would need, and it's got a all-weather, cold weather suit in there that I can put on even if I'm just wearing work clothes, and that'll be good for cold weather conditions. The only one thing I will add to the car if it starts snowing, because I did this a couple of years ago, I don't have a long commute, but if it starts snowing, I chuck a pair of wellies in the boot, because if the car goes to get stuck or something, I've got a tiny little rubbish car just now. If I have to walk home, it's only a few miles, but trying to do that in a pair of trainers, which is what I'm wearing when I come out of work, would be a nightmare. So just a pair of wellies is what I'll add to that.
Yeah, I chuck my walking boots in the car when I go to work, because it's like 90 miles, and if I ever had to trek back, it's a long journey. So I've always got the walking boots in there. Thanks for the question, Pete. And Vanessa Kitty, where in Texas would you go? I don't know. I was looking at the jobs I was looking at were in Houston, so the outskirts of that. There is a Pasadena in Texas where I was looking at houses, but I don't know the areas. So Brian would go wherever the gun shop is hiring. Yeah.
I'd need to research it, mate. I don't know enough about the state. You would have to do your due diligence and see crime rates, all that kind of shit. Property prices would have a big thing in job availability.
Yeah, the property prices, you'll cry just comparing them with them over here. Some of them. What do you prep for stopping fires? How many extra options do you consider as needed for those who are accidental arsonists? Don't know what you're talking about. Thank you for the £5 super chat, though, Gala. Fire prevention. Start with you, Brian.
Fire blankets. It's passive. You don't need to worry about expiry dates, and you don't need to worry about the type for a start. So you should have at least a couple of fire blankets in the house. And the problem I've got, if there's a fire with the domestic house batteries, there's nothing I can do about it.
Walk away. Walk away.
I'd be waddling with style right out the door, mate, because if that stack went, the house is a total loss. There's nothing you'll do. Nothing. Nothing you'll stop it with. So I've got some CO2 and some dry powder extinguishers.
Really selling the solar dream to everyone there, Brian.
You've got to be realistic. I mean, if these things go up, it's not so much the batteries that go. In most house fires with solar systems, it's the panels, be shitty installs and poor MC4 connectors, high resistance, whoosh. It's the roof that goes up. It's not the batteries, as a rule. And there's nothing you're doing about that either. So prep for the normal things. So fire blankets and CO2 and dry powder.
You can always raffle off your old Deltas, Brian.
They'll never go to waste.
So yeah. Alan, anything extra on fires?
Just for the house, I've got a couple of those small fire extinguishers dotted around. There's one in the bedroom, there's one in the kitchen. I've got one in the shed. Lidl sell them every now and again. They're only about like this big. You keep them in the car as well. I think
they've got them at the moment, actually, because they've got a full Parkside range in at the moment. So
they seem quite decent. I mean, they've got like a lifespan, but I don't know exactly what that is. But they're not expensive, and I have a few of them dotted about. I've got an integrated smoke alarm detection and a heat sensor in the kitchen as well. This room actually that I'm in just now hasn't got anything, so I do actually plan on buying another heat sensor and putting it in here, not a smoke alarm, because I randomly burn incense sticks in here sometimes, and so I don't want it going off. But
Incense. Incense.
yeah.
We get you, Alan.
it could get smoky in here, But,
Getting in touch with the spirits.
well, I'll get a heat sensor in here, and that kind of squares off the house. When it comes to being out in the wilderness, I just, sensible precautions. I do actually camp in some very high risk fire locations sometimes, and there's a lot of peat on the ground and things. So, that was actually a bit of a thing this year. I was in an area that was literally on fire at one point.
I've seen people just like rock up and start setting up a fire on dry leaves and everything. They don't clear a space, they don't put rocks around it, they don't dig a hole, anything like that, and it winds me up.
Yeah.
You need to do a fire safety video, Alan, on your channel. That'd be a good one.
I probably should, especially for the peaty ground. A lot of people just don't understand that if you go into a place full of moss, like in the Cairngorms, and you build a fire, the fire can actually burn underground for months. Literally a month. It can smoke and it will spread. It's amazing.
In the Welsh mountains, where all the slate mines are in North Wales, they've got a lot of Japanese knotweed, and that does the same. The roots burn underground. And so a fire can start one place, and over under the mountain somewhere else, suddenly a forest fire can start. So it's definitely something to be aware of. Cool. Andy, anything to add on the fire precaution front?
No, I know. I won't go into it, but I know why Great Galaz asked that. And if I was him, I'd keep a fire extinguisher in the bedroom in case anything happens during the night. So you're not running to a particular room to grab it. Even if you don't want it in sight, maybe just keep it in the wardrobe. Yeah. And if anything did happen during the night, you can run straight to your wardrobe, grab it, then you're out. As soon as you're out of your bedroom door, you've got a means to fight whatever you face. Yeah. So that's what I would do if I was him.
Yeah. Great points. Great valid points. Thank you for that, Great Galar. Appreciate that one. What have we got? Sorry if I missed this, but what are your keep warm plans if the home heating fails this winter for you and your family? I'll go first if you don't mind. I've got a tent that's no good for outside because it leaks. Which is I know. Pick your jaws up off the floor and I'll continue. So seriously, obviously blankets, electric blankets, stuff like that. We've got loads. I've started every time we go near a charity shop. I'm a nightmare now because I'm going in looking for wool blankets because they're expensive if you buy them new. But you can find it doesn't matter what the pattern is. I've got some horrendous ones, but they do the job. So wool blankets, removal blankets, stuff like that. If it gets really cold, we all end up in one room. If it gets really cold, we set the tent up and we're all in the tent because it's less area to heat and your body heat in that tent will keep you warm. Other than that, I do have, for the gas canister cookers we just talked about, I have got a heater now. And for all the people that say, I'm going to gas myself to death, I've got a bit of common sense, so I usually wouldn't. But also, Hill have just sent me this, which I'll be doing a review on soon. These are the guys that did the reverse osmosis filter. And basically, that is a carbon monoxide detector, temperature, humidity, everything with a little hook so you can take it out with your camping and stuff like that. So it's just a little safety device extra, but I can hang that inside the tent, something like that. And it's got an alarm on it if it gets up to so many parts per million kind of thing. So
it doesn't have to be charged, does it? Or run off batteries?
You just can't resist, can you? Just can't resist. It does have to be charged. It does have to be charged.
You put it in the
bin. But yeah, so that's just like an added extra. Generally, I'm of the school of thought of don't listen to the fear-mongering saying, oh, you're cooking inside your kitchen with a gas hob, you've warmed up a tin of beans for 5 minutes, you're all going to die of carbon poisoning. You're not. You're in a big, decent-sized open space. You're not leaving it running 24/7 for heat. It's just to cook something. common sense. But if you are in a small area like a tent, that's where these accidents happen. Idiots at festivals keeping themselves warm with a gas stove in a 2-man tent from Timu. So yeah. Anyway, but that's my
Don't listen
kind
to
of
the
plan.
fearmongers. Nothing needs to be charged up.
You can go next, Andy.
The only thing I have, mate, is sleeping bags.
Yeah.
The old, not I suppose they are old, but the Arctic issue ones, a bit that I used, and I've been down, I think, -17 in them. So I know they go down to -17. I've always been warm.
Yeah.
And I know the work, mate, and you're probably not going to get a better sleeping bag for the price point. To be fair, especially if you're on a budget. So that would do. I mean, to be fair, mate, I'm lucky there's only me and Leanne. So
what price point are we talking for the audience?
Oh, you can probably get one with for 40 quid.
Yeah.
Probably in really, really, really good nick. They're called a bouncing bomb for a reason. Because they're huge when they go into your Bergen. Do you know what I mean? So I would only advise them for use in house if it was for what Nicky's saying.
Yeah, or like car camping where you can throw extra stuff in and stuff like that. Yeah, awesome, cool. Keep him warm, Brian. Got electric blankets everywhere, haven't you?
I've got a few. So it would depend how cold it was, but there's 22 kilowatts of batteries in the house that would keep the heating running for 16 hours, depending on the temperature outside and depending what else you were running. If that was then optional, it went longer than that, then there's enough power banks and electric blankets that you could either share them or have one each for an evening or a couple of evenings if needed. If it was any longer than a couple of evenings, then you would have to think about it and maybe move to one room and conserve your resources. But in the short term, it wouldn't be it'd be fine.
Yeah.
Basically, everything's electric.
Yeah. Good stuff. Alan, heating at home if it fails?
I think I'm just the same as you. It would be a case of confining to one room. I've got some of those electric fires as well, those cheap little ones. So if I still had power and I didn't care about my electricity bill, because these things eat electricity, they heat a room pretty quickly as well. But I mean, I've got a hot tent, a fairly large hot tent that I could set up in the garden and literally use a wood burning stove to heat that as well. And I can't imagine this ever being the case, but it would be possible for me to bring that wood burning stove into, say, the living room, and then with some stainless steel flexi pipe, I could simply have it going out the top small window in the living room, and then I would literally have a wood burning stove in my living room. Then you could jerry rig it that way. It doesn't really get that cold in the UK. I mean, not really. If you've got a relatively well-insulated house, my house is quite well-insulated, you're not likely to die because it's never really going below -10 max, really, sort of sea level. And when you're inside your house in a room,
if you're in a pensioner, please don't take Alan's advice. Carry on.
But yeah, I mean, I can't really imagine it being that cold for that long that it would become like a survival type scenario. But like the goal is to one day get a proper wood burning stove in the living room. I've got a chimney. I just need to buy the stove and sort it out and get my act together, and then that's the goal,
Mm. Well, funnily enough, Nikki has actually been through this situation, and you can find out all about that this Thursday on the Prepper podcast, because something's just broke on Brian's. She's on the Prepper podcast telling her story on this Thursday, so make sure you tune in for that as well. Thank you for that one. Killer71, have you guys considered crayfish nets, passive hunting? Our waterways are crawling with them. Yeah, I've got some long nets. I also did I give some to you, Brian? I give some to Hawkins. Hawkins had a couple off me as well because I got them as part of an auction lot, quite a few of them. So yeah, I've considered it. What I would actually fish out of the Manchester Ship Canal, I'm not sure it'd be edible. But they're there anyway. Fishing, Andy.
I've never considered crayfish nets, mate, but I would now he's put it in my. Now he's got me thinking. I don't know if there'd be anywhere around here, mate, with crayfish, to be honest with you. But if I was in a position where there was crayfish close by, then I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. You can pick up the nets as well on most car boot sales and stuff for next to nothing, guys. If anyone's considering that, something you've considered or done, Alan?
I've not got crayfish nets, but I do have a couple of lobster pots in my shed. A few years back, I did a camping trip in Arran and Mull, and I took them with me, and I caught lobsters and crabs and all sorts of stuff with that, and cooked them up. It was really easy to do. You just go out at low tide, put them in the rocks, and with a stinking fish, and you're guaranteed to get crabs anyway.
Oh, nice.
So, other than that,
you're guaranteed to get crabs in Scotland. There you go.
Yeah,
I know a few places you'd be guaranteed to get crabs in Scotland. Sorry about that.
How much kind of, is lobster pot something you can make, or how much kind of, what we kind of talking cost wise? Because obviously the fish nets are about anything from like 25-30 quid if you're buying them new, down to like a £5 on a car boot sale, less than that.
Do you know, I don't know how much they cost, but they can't be that much, because I literally got them for free when I was at a place where I was launching my dinghy, and I was testing out an outboard motor for it. And I was talking to the guy at the side who had a whole bunch of them, and he actually said, just have a couple. So he just gave me them. And they're quite, you could make them, I imagine. And you could
they probably weren't his.
Yeah. I can't imagine them being expensive, because they're basically just made of wire and rope. And they have a weight, they have like a lead weight or something in them, and or you can put bricks in them, and it's got a rope, and then you can put a float on them and things like that. But
yeah, no, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Brian, something you've considered, the passive hunting with waterways and stuff?
Yes, but not here, because like you, there's a canal about 1.5 miles from here, and the only thing you'll get out of that is dead cow shopping trolleys and some pike and perch, none of which are particularly nice to eat. That being said, I do have a lot of fishing rods and a lot of fishing gear, and for passive fishing, I bought some gill nets, and I bought some of the fish traps, the folding ones, and they've got the nets to trap the fish one way. So I bought some of them. I've never used them, but I bought them. And I've bought snares that I've never used. And honest answer, I've never used snares in my life. So it would be teach yourself how to use snares if I had to. But I bought them anyway.
Better to learn now in peace times, Brian. We know this. We know this. You can catch crayfish with an empty hook. There you go. It's good to know. It's good to know. We're gonna have to stop your questions coming in now, guys, unless it's a super chat and you'll bump up. But I'm gonna have to stop them because we're out like 10 behind, so we've got more than enough to get us through. Appreciate them though. So thank you for that question, Killer. Vanessa, are the waterways safe for catching and cooking those crayfish? I suppose we've already answered that with, don't trust the shipping canals. You're more likely to catch 7 used Johnnies than you are a fish.
Not from the ones you're at.
I don't know if licenses are required. I don't know if there's licensing required. I think it's different areas have different rules on fishing. It depends where you are. So
there's an invasive species of crayfish. I know that in England, American version, which I think is
they're
sort of
protected
free
as well,
game.
aren't they?
But there's some in Scotland that are protected, along with freshwater mussels. There's a river I camp near, and you can see freshwater mussels there. You cannot eat them. You cannot collect them. I suppose if it's an XHTF situation, bloody everything's fair game. But same with trapping and snaring and stuff as well.
Swan is back on the menu, boys.
Well, it already is for some people. But,
they're eating the cats. They're eating the birds.
Yeah.
If I meet Indians in the Amazon Delta, would they know about Mike and fires?
There's tribes in the Amazon who've got more stuff charged than Mike.
Why I do this? I don't know why I do it. Join the fireside next week when we've got Sigma, Funky, and all the other guests coming on. Hey, Deuce, got any tips? Okay. It flagged it because it had a question mark, so I have no idea. When I packed for the Midland meet, I grabbed a tube of Savlon from home instead of the toothpaste. Didn't realise until the first morning when I stuffed the toothbrush in my mouth.
Ooh, nasty.
Nice. I heard gagging coming from that side of the camping area. I just thought you and Andy were getting to know each other, so more than just neighbours. How is your army malarkey going, Mike? I went for the interview, been down to the base and spoke to the sergeant there. I actually had an interview with and spoke to and everything. Everything's going ahead. Everything's all good. Done my aptitude test, etc. They expect me to go to Glencourse in January/February, depending on availability. So there you go. That's how it's going. Got to get training. What dimensions is that titanium stove? That's the one you were on about, Alan? Yeah, 500 quid. She wants to know how much stove you get for your book.
I would have to look up what the dimensions of it are, but it's about this big. If you can see that, it's you can get a folding.
That doesn't help when you're 6 miles from your camera. About this big.
That's a separate subject.
It's on the Pomali website. They do two versions. They do a folding version and they do one that's it's entirely intact and it's got two glass windows either side. Not folding, yeah. That's the one I'm after. So, I would have to look it up. I don't know.
Cool. Thank you, Vanessa. Guardian prepping, future prep question. How many years till we have solar powered dirt bikes or mobile organic 3D printers available, capable of reconstructing any plant matter into water or food?
Technically, it's there now.
Yeah.
Most of that's there now.
Well, we've got electric bikes. There was one I looked at that was it had like a 180-mile range on it as well. It actually looked like a cool bit of kit, but it defies the point of loud pipes save lives when you're going along in an electric motorbike at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, Ryan from F9 did a review on an electric dirt bike, and they suck. He knows his stuff, that guy. So I would look into that if you plan on buying one of them as a dirt bike.
I mean, everything sucks when it first comes out. Like the first electric cars and stuff were horrendous. So hopefully with time, Brian, you were saying
all of that's out now. Just to what extent? So the all 3D printers are portable if you've got a power source, and they're all rechargeable off the sun if you've got the sun. So all of the top lines there now. The organic 3D printers, they've been doing studies and trials for the last few years on 3D printing cartilage for people's ears and things, and doing cosmetic reconstructive surgery and stuff. There's also studies going on just now for doing using templates of organic 3D printers to build up organs. So there's all sorts of shit going on now with that. But for any sci-fi geeks there, it sounds like it's like a standard template construction type printer that can do any pattern and anything. You can get 3D printers now that will print in wood, aluminium, titanium, and that was 4 years ago I saw them.
Yeah, it's unbelievable how quick it's going. And now that we introduced AI into that, all the stuff they were trying to figure out is going to be a lot more easy to figure out, right? So watch this space. Demolition Man times are coming soon. Thank you to Liz for £10 on PayPal saying, we met at the bug outs. My husband said you look like Ricky Hatton. Sorry about that.
That's the best podcast
I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe in his prime, Thank you for the question as well, Guardian Prepping. Jay Still Logging has a suggestion. People should get acquainted with diseases in wildlife. If SHTF and you have to hunt and gather, you should be familiar with TB, CWD, foot and mouth, etc. Definitely. Spotting symptoms, knowing don't eat that sheep. It's very sick kind of thing. It's all good knowledge to have, definitely. And last one, Nikki has I said Ricky because of that Ricky Hatton thing. What an idiot. Nikki has a random question. Do you have your bug out outfits ready on hangers or set aside to go? Bug out outfits. That's an interesting one. We all have bug out bags and go bags or grab bags and stuff like that. But what about the clothing? I mean, if that happened to be the day you were cross-dressing, Brian, do you have to quickly change, and is it all ready?
Well, I mean, my bug out size 10 stilettos, if it's a Friday night, that could be an issue. But unless I'm bugging out to a Rocky Horror Picture Show revival, then I'll probably be all right. But mate,
But do you
it's not
have
like
something?
I'm not Mr. Ben. I don't open the cupboard and I'm going to be a fucking astronaut today. It's just full of clothes.
No, Mr. Ben's disappeared. He's not done anything for ages.
No, I don't have. I've got clothes that are more suited to outdoors that I could put to hand straight away. Put it that way. Depending on the time of year, you would choose everything's a toolbox. You would choose your clothing to suit the season.
Yeah. Cool. Alan, do you have a bug out outfit ready to go? Like a Superman booth? Outdoors.
I've got a cupboard right sort of there. You can't see it on the camera, but in there I've got, there's maybe 4 or 5 different, I suppose you would call it, outfits for different seasons. But they're just outdoor clothes. And the reason I have them is because, well, one, some of them are more suited to other things than others. Like, one's camouflage, they're all kind of greenish and things like that to sort of blend in better if you're hunting or fishing or something. But almost all of my outdoor clothing is also treated with permethrin. So purely for the sake of it's treated clothing for anti-ticks. And also I don't mind it getting like scuffed up and dirty and things like that.
Is that like the Nick Wax stuff? What is that?
It's a spray on
to kill bugs, mate, and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's an anti-tick chemical that you spray. The one I've got, you spray onto your clothing, and it stays on your clothing for several washes. But it's the only thing that actually kills ticks.
Embrace the ticks. Embrace the ticks.
Yeah, well, I've got some of it right here. That's the one I use. There you go.
That shit can't be healthy.
Well,
it stays on after X amount of washes, and it kills the ticks.
Yep, kills them. It actually paralyzes their nervous system apparently and kills them outright. It's not a deterrent. It's a killer. So you wouldn't want to put it near your skin. But I mean, that's one of the reasons why.
Just the clothes you're wearing.
Yeah. I mean, but
if I spray it on my boxers, can I stop having kids? Is that?
Yeah, I would probably definitely do that. It's some dodgy stuff. But
can you go back and give it to 18-year-old me? Cool. So, Andy, do you have kit like clothing if you had to bug out?
Yeah, I've got it in my gorilla box.
Yeah,
all the clothing that Wood wears in there, mate. Yeah,
it fits in there with the gorilla.
Yep, he wears it.
All right.
He jumps out of the box and takes it off, and then I just put it on.
All right, excellent. Excellent.
I've warmed up these boxers for you.
Already got the stank on. Excellent. Yeah, I've got a box of like camouflage clothes and stuff like that. It all lives in a box because it just wouldn't fit in the wardrobe with everything else. Generally, I've just started wearing more practical clothes. I don't need a suit for the office anymore, stuff like that. So I'm just walking around in. If it's not gym gear, it's outdoor gear. So generally, I've got my jacket near the door with all my stuff in and my bag. So if I had to get out, it was a fire spreading through the house, I'm not thinking about getting changed. Whatever I'm wearing, just throwing the jacket on top. And in the bag that's in the car has a set of clothes in as well. So
just
good
put
question,
the outfit on.
that's my bug out gear. It's these big, flary, bright shorts and a pair of red gloves. That's oh dear, shocking. I think that's it. That's it for our questions I highlighted. Don C, why is Alan so far away? He's because Brian smells. Ticks give you Lyme disease.
Musk.
Yes, I know. I was joking about the B1 with the ticks. Nobody wants ticks. It's a good way to get close to your camping friends when they're having to remove one from an obscure place. Promethean is an insecticide. Use it when deer culling. It also kills Scottish midges too, as I found out when I got some on my vehicle. Oh, I'll have to take a look. Bring all that to the Scottish meet, Alan. We'll have a flyover and spray the entire field before we camp.
Oh yeah, it kills everything. It was actually developed by the US military way back in the day, and it's quite hard to get in the UK. That's the only one that I can find that contains that ingredient. This and it's only a relatively tiny amount that's in it. You know?
Agent Orange.
It's kind of like that, yeah.
What's the actual spray called? Not the ingredient. What's the actual spray called that you've got there?
Life Systems EX4 Plus.
Oh, it really rolls off the tongue. EX4 Plus.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that helps.
$9.95 for 350 mil. Sorted.
Let's read that blurry tin backwards. That's brilliant. Thanks, Alan. That really helped clear it up.
I'm going to pop I've just saved it for myself, but I'll pop the link in the chat for anybody that wants it as well. Yeah, we've got 184 people still in here. It's past 10 o'clock though, so bedtime for the older people. Not mention any names, just, you know, we've got some older people with us, so we got to consider it. Everyone watching on Andy's channel, Alan's channel, Brian's channel. I'm Mike, UK Urban Prepper. I post videos galore, ridiculous amounts of videos. Most of it's crap. You might find some good stuff, so make sure you subscribe to me and check it out. Andy, would you like to tell the people about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a part-time YouTuber. I post probably the most infrequent of everyone here when I get the time. I did have a flurry of putting loads of videos out, but then contract pick back up, so I'm back in work at the minute. But I've got an OEX, is it a Hyena 2? And I'm just going to raffle
the 10.
I'm going to raffle it off, mate, in Discord for Christmas.
Awesome.
So somebody can have a 10 for free. So I'll do that over Christmas, mate. I'll send it off whoever wins.
Awesome. There you go. Good reason to join the Discord. Thank you, Andy. Brian, tell the good people on everyone else's channel about yourselves.
I do a fair amount of review videos. I do a lot of fear-mongering videos on how the power grid is perilous and it's all going to implode in the near future. It's not fear-mongering. I think it's actually true. So yeah, I tend to concentrate on technological solutions to grid down and bugging in versus dragging your kids and granny out into the forest with a drunk octopus on your back and singing Kumbaya around the shitting your brains out for 3 days in the cold. So I would rather bug in, and I tend to prep for that shit.
With lots and lots of power.
1 or 2 power banks.
1.21 gigawatts!
Thank you, Michael.
Alan, world survivalist, tell us all about your adventures.
So yeah, my channel's mostly wilderness based type wild camping. I do some kit reviews as well. I'm trying to make videos on a more urban-y type end, a more prepping end. I'm actually finding them difficult to make because it's kind of outside my comfort zone and I've got terrible recording equipment. So I'm going to update all that stuff and hopefully next year you'll see a big uptake in that kind of content. But yeah, it's mostly outdoor camping type stuff and wildernessy type things.
I think I promised to upgrade my cameras on my 10th video, and 987 videos later, I'm still using the same shit. I'm jealous of all these ones with the really nice equipment, but it is what it is. So
Mine's a phone.
also, yeah, I mean, I use my phone for stuff, and I use this is just a webcam sort of thing, but it'd be nice to have all the nice and shiny bits, but it is what it is. Thank you to our awesome moderators tonight: Rift Security, Miss Worm, Evil Girl. I don't know if Hawkins even showed up.
Of course he wasn't.
If you're watching Hawkins,
Bullshit, it looks to me like the best part of you ran down the crack of your mama's ass and ended up as a brown stain on the mattress.
That one's for you. Yeah, thank you to everyone there. Don't forget, Miss Worm has her own channel as well that she'll link in the comments. If you want a break from prepping, just someone to read you a nice story in a lovely tone of voice, go and check out her channel. And she's a published author as well, with a book on Amazon, which you need to go and buy and check out, stuff like that Andy's going to read at some point. So thanks very much, guys, and we'll see you all in another fireside soon.
Bye, guys.
Laters.
In the glow of embers dance, we've prepared for every chance, living simple, living true, with the dream we all pursue. In the glow of embers dance, we've prepared for every chance, living simple, living true, with the dream we all pursue.
I'm Brian! I'm Brian! I'm Brian! I'm Brian! I'm Brian and so's my wife! Right, take him away and release him. No, I'm only joking. I'm not really Brian.